Afternoon everybody, and welcome back to Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park for the latest in our Wednesday Facebook Live videos. Today we are continuing our world tour, and we are having a look at our Aldabra tortoise. So as ever, feel free to send in any questions or comments you might have. Otherwise I will try to tell you a little bit more about these guys. Nice close up there. So yeah, so this is Arnold. Arnold is an Aldabra tortoise, as I say. So as the name suggests, Aldabra tortoises are found on the atoll of Aldabra, which is part of the Seychelles, out in the Indian Ocean. You coming and trying to eat my camera? Is that what you want to do? Is that what you're trying to do? Hey? Yeah, so like I say, they're part of this. They live on the atoll of Aldabra out in the Indian Ocean. They are one of the two largest species of tortoise in the world. The other being the Galapagos giant tortoise. Aldabrans and Galapagos get to a similar size. The one we've got here, Arnold, he is only a youngster, so he is still quite small. I don't know if you can see my hand for scale there. He's still quite a small. Hello, do you want to scratch? Is that what you want? He is still a youngster, and he is still quite small, really. He's probably only about a quarter the size of what they can actually get to. Yeah, like I say, he's about 8 years old now. Adults can get to, on average, around about 100 kilos, and kind of their shell length can be over a metre. So yeah, what's he now? Probably about 40 centimetres shell length, maybe a bit longer, maybe 50. So yeah, he's got a good bit of growing left to do. Yeah, he is only 8 years old, and this species of tortoise is known to live up to around about 200 years. The longest lived individuals. It's believed there is an individual at the moment out in one of the reserves in the wild who's around about 197 years old. But yeah, so Arnold here is definitely a relative youngster at 8 years old. Lots of growing to do yet. So yeah, snacking on leaves like that will definitely help him grow. So yeah, while he's munching on some grass and some leaves at the moment, we'll talk about diet. It's mainly plant-based for these guys, and what they do actually, they live in areas that they actually create called tortoise turf, and basically they eat all the plants that they can eat, and they leave behind kind of inedible plants and things like that they can't really eat. So it creates this habitat called tortoise turf, which isn't really a problem here. The grass in the enclosure is fairly safe from these guys. Yeah, they're not going to completely wipe it out, especially when there's only one of them here. The Aldabra here does share with our two African spur tortoises who we did see a couple of weeks ago. Aldabra tortoises have got a couple of adaptations to help them, which are a little bit different to other tortoises. So if I can distract him for a second, they are a species of tortoise that actually will browse high up. So if we give him a little scratch, you'll be able to see his nice long neck if he wants to bring it out, which he doesn't. But Aldabra tortoises have got a really long neck here, which you don't really see in many other species of tortoise. You do see it in the Galapagos, but you don't really see it in other species. And this means that they're able to kind of reach upwards and browse on branches and vegetation above them, rather than just grazing on the floor, which is a nice little adaptation. The different kind of types of Aldabra tortoise have actually got differences in their shell shape. Ones that browse a little bit more have got more of a gap there for them to be able to reach their neck up, whereas ones that graze on the floor a little bit more haven't quite got that. So yeah, there's a nice little bit of a difference there for them. Hi Tim, hi Judith, hope you're both okay today, good to see you watching. coming around here. Okay, you're still following us around, aren't you? Hey? So yeah, some really cool adaptations for Aldabrans. I mean, they're able to eat a nice wide range of different plants and plant matter and things like that, which is very cool. Out in the wild, like I say, these guys are found on the island of Aldabra. There are other large species of tortoise in the surrounding islands and the surrounding area. At the moment, they're kind of thought to be subspecies of Aldabran tortoises. That's kind of the current thinking. But yeah, we're not 100% sure on that. The Aldabran tortoises are basically the last ones of the large tortoises left in this region of the world. European sailors really overexploited all of the tortoises over in the Indian Ocean, apart from on Aldabra, where they were able to kind of stay quite safe and secure, which is good for these guys. Unfortunately, all of the other species have pretty much gone extinct now, so that's a real shame. But yeah, there's thought to be around about 100,000 Aldabrans out in the wild. They are classed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List, but they are quite well protected now. The main threat to these guys is climate change. Aldabra being an atoll, it is very, very vulnerable to sea level rise and things like that. It will be one of the first places to disappear if sea levels do rise or continue to rise. So yeah, the population there will be extremely vulnerable to that. So climate change is the main issue for these guys, the main threat that they face at the moment. Hi Lorraine, hi Mary, hope you're both okay for today. So yeah, along with plant matter, these guys will actually eat a little bit of meat if they come across a bit of carrion or something like that. They will feed on a little bit of meat. There was actually something published, I think in 2022, about a female Aldabran tortoise out in the wild actually hunting a juvenile bird, catching it and eating it. So yeah, that's quite impressive, really. So maybe they do make a bit more of a conscious effort to eat a bit of meat sometimes, but I think we need to see some more kind of real life examples of that before we come to any real conclusions. So yeah, they've got a lovely shell on them, as you can see. Yeah, Arnold's currently just having a look around for a bit of grub, I think, and a bit of a graze on the grass and stuff like that. I'm going to come for another close-up. Okay. I'm coming for another close-up. Yes, you are. Yeah, so Judith, the claws on the feet will just wear down naturally. We don't need to do anything like that. We don't need to wear them down or anything like that, or clip them. They will wear down naturally. More of an issue with tortoises really is the beak, because the beak on the mouth there does grow. I don't know if you can see it there. It's quite well done, Arnold. That's very good timing. The little beak there. That can be a bit more of an issue, which sometimes does need a little bit of a trim down. We haven't had to do it with Arnold here, but yeah, it can potentially be an issue. So again, we've got to keep an eye on that and try to make provisions to allow them to wear it down themselves. So yeah, when they're fully grown, on average they're around about 100 kilos, Tim. You know, really big individuals can go much more than that. I think they can go up to about 160, but I think on average it's about 100 kilos for an Aldabran tortoise. Like I say, one of the two biggest species in the world. These guys in Galapagos are very, very close in size. Island species, which can kind of lead to gigantism, as we call it, and the scientific name for these guys is actually Aldabra gigantea. So yeah, you can see why it's got that name, because they do get absolutely massive, bless them. Yeah, they definitely can get a move on when they want to. You're trying to come and eat my hand? Please don't. no, they definitely can get a move on when they want to. Bless them. I'll get another angle because he's still wandering back the way you just came, mate. So in the wild they will either live on their own or they will actually live in herds. Normally they're found in herds on the kind of grazing plains and the fields and things like that they'll go and eat on. Yeah, they'll kind of come together in these large groups just while they're all feeding. Habitat wise, these guys just fill pretty much every habitat they can in Aldabra, on Aldabra I should say. Yeah, they're not particularly fussy as long as there's enough food there. They're able to cope quite well. Like I say, with the adaptations of the neck, they're able to feed on a lot broader range of vegetation and things like that than a kind of standard tortoise would. So yeah, they are able to live in a number of habitats. That's a good question, Tim. Egg wise, I think they can lay up to around 14 or 15 eggs, I believe. I can't remember. I think it was something like that when I did my research last night. I think only about half of these are normally fertile. So yeah, normally probably around about 7 potential viable eggs from a female at any one time. Having a munch there, mate. Yeah, Arnold's having a nice little wander around today. Nice weather for them. They're out most days now, with the weather being quite nice. Obviously in the winter they spend a lot more time indoors, but while the weather's quite nice as it is at the moment, they're able to spend a lot of time outside, which is good. Much better for the animals to be out and about, having a bit of a munch and a bit of a forage for themselves. Right guys, if anyone's got any last minute questions, feel free to send them in. Otherwise we will call it a day for today. Yeah, like I say, we're on a bit of an island hop with our world tour now, so yeah, we're over in the Indian Ocean on Aldabra today. Next week we're going to head over to Madagascar, and we've got a good few Madagascan species here, so I think the next 5 weeks or so will be taken up by Madagascar. Probably start with one of the lemur species next week, maybe the red rufts or something, but yeah, we'll be on to Madagascar next week, which will be good. Very unique wildlife over in Madagascar, so hopefully we can learn something quite interesting about those guys next week. Well, and for the next month or so. Right then guys, I think we'll call it a day there, as Arnold is ploughing through a bamboo bush now, so we'll leave him be. But yeah, thanks for tuning in as ever, and we'll be back same time next week. Cheers guys.